Lastly, we go back to the big question. Using now all of the information that the students have learned, have them write an essay or a paragraph or something showing that they understand how effective reforms were when addressing the problems of industrialization. Make sure you include political, social, economic effects, because again, that's a lot a part of our end of course exams. Other thought questions that you can either put as part of the essay, as part of the discussion. How is the jungle a primary source if it's fiction? Well, remember, he didn't write it under his name, but he is the one that went in and did the investigations. What is the significance of the title? The kids love to talk about the title. Why is it called The Jungle? It has nothing to do with Mowgli and the jungle, but it is our form of a jungle. What is the purpose of a muckraker? Which they should already know because you've already taught it. And then, do you think this legislation would have passed without the public's attention? Like, it was in the works and you knew it was gross, but what does it take to get that legislation passed? Other ideas and thoughts, connections to today. Why is this important to us today? Thank God we have those ingredients on our food. Thank God we have the Pure Food and Drug Act and inspectors constantly going in there. What are some ways people try to make change today? It only took 6 months for the jungle to come out. How long does it take for legislation to pass today and to get the point across? Reminders for teachers to also explain. The goal wasn't food safety. It was workers. It was the workers. Like, how did they deal with the work life? It was an investigative reporting. So think about secret shoppers of today. Think about the show Undercover Boss, where they go in and try to look around and see what's going on. And the main thing that I tell my students is, you don't know what you don't know. They didn't know they were being exploited. They didn't know how badly they were being treated. And then it critiques the American dream. Remember, we are a melting pot. People come here to get rich and to have the best life ever. But is that really what's happening? No. And then other interesting facts. Yes, there were inspectors, but they stayed quiet because they were being bought by the government. Political machines. Think about the political machines. And Roosevelt and Sinclair were not friends. They were not buddies, okay? Remember, Sinclair was a socialist. Other forms of differentiation, it can be done on paper or electronically, all right? Some of us have one-to-one devices, some of us do not. You've got all these different levels that you can adhere to, accommodations, higher level thinking students or classes. So the reading can be shortened or lengthened, enlarged for those that can't see very well, recorded, chunked. That's like on every accommodation for some of these special ed kids is chunking. Read aloud as a class, like I've been known to actually read the excerpt to my lower level classes, or peer to peer. You read a paragraph, I'll read a paragraph. It can be done in groups or with a partner or individually, okay? And then in the end, you can use released in course test items to check for understanding. Other ideas, we got another spin on the 3-2-1. 3 sentences or phrases that are confusing. 2 sentences you can actually visualize. 1 emotion you felt and 1 question you still have. And then the window notes. These are very popular. So the facts, the feelings, the questions, the ideas. Kind of a spin on the 3-2-1. In conclusion, the jungle is such a fun resource to teach. I love teaching it every year. The kids get into it. You really will have a hard time with kids not being interested because it is kind of gross. But it also paints such a vivid picture of our history in the meatpacking plants. And I think the kids will really love it and appreciate it.